I want to now bring in Ambassador John Bolton, former White House National Security Advisor. Ambassador, good morning to you. So earlier this morning, as Robert just said, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy said Russia's vow not to attack energy infrastructure was very much at odds with reality. And he posted on X that Moscow hit civilian targets overnight, including a hospital, saying in part this: it is these types of nighttime attacks by Russia that destroy our energy sector, our infrastructure, and the normal life of Ukrainians, and that pressure on Russia must continue for the sake of peace. So is Russia trying to blur the lines here, or is this a breach of that partial ceasefire?
Well, there's a disagreement in the readouts between what the White House said and what the Kremlin said. The Kremlin said they would refrain from attacking energy infrastructure, and the White House said everybody would refrain from attacking energy and infrastructure. So they couldn't even agree on what they had agreed on. This is not a ceasefire, really. This is a 30-day retargeting from the Russian point of view. And it shows why Putin held out for a direct conversation with Trump. He didn't want foreign ministers to discuss it. He certainly didn't want to discuss it with Ukraine or the Europeans. He thought he could get more out of a call with Trump, and I think we see the answer is that he did. Yeah,
and we know that Zelenskyy now plans on talking to President Trump today. He's been calling for sanctions against Russia, asking for the world to turn up the pressure on them. What does that phone call need to sound like on Trump's end today, especially as Russia does not come to the table for a full permanent ceasefire just yet?
Well, I think both sides are maneuvering for position here. Nobody wants to be seen as an enemy of peace, but to say, well, I'm in favor of peace is an easy statement. Peace at what price? You can always achieve peace by surrendering. So what this does for Trump is put him in the middle of things. The Russians talk to him, the Ukrainians talk to him. Nobody cares about the Europeans. And I think it enhances his sense that he will be the one who can make the deal. Now, whether or not that happens remains anybody's guess. But it's interesting that what was finally agreed to was not that much different than what Zelenskyy had proposed. His first proposal was that the ceasefire be in the air over western Ukraine and also on the Black Sea. So now they've got a partial ceasefire in the air and the Black Sea to be discussed. It was the administration, I think, that went further than the ground would allow by trying to get a total ceasefire. And I think Putin, unfortunately, put them in their place.
Yeah, and Ambassador, you brought up the fact that nobody is agreeing on what was said yesterday or agreed upon. You also have President Trump denying that Putin asked for military aid to be stopped to Ukraine. How significant would that be for Ukraine's security if that were to happen and there were an end to intelligence sharing as well?
Right. Well, this was just another one of those perfect phone calls. Everything went great. The Kremlin readout is that they did discuss it, and Putin knows exactly what he's doing. It would be devastating to Ukraine if all Western assistance were cut off. It'd be devastating under current circumstances if just U.S. assistance were cut off, as it was suspended after the debacle in the Oval Office. This is another example of Putin's manipulation. He's the one who put that on the table because he knew Trump had already resorted to it. This is not some fancy new issue or some unknown tactic. He's talking about something Trump already did. So he's working on Trump's sense that this is a pretty important lever over Ukraine and one that he will try and invoke again.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.